All right. Shalom, Hebron Ben Bilal, back at y'all, man. Coming live this time from my living room. Can't go outside. It just been raining so hard today that just been kind of in the thing. Now, I started something yesterday on the Shabbat, and I want to go ahead and finish it up. And I want to make sure that I'm talking loud enough so you don't have to turn your volume up until I start getting the necessary tools that I need to start putting out better video quality. Yesterday we were talking about the law, and in regard to the law being done away with, yada, yada, yada. Something me and my cousin, one of my good cousins, had been kind of discussing back and forth. So I'm gonna put a bow on what we were discussing yesterday, because I kind of woke up this morning and I was like, man, I need to finish that up. I need to wrap that up. So with this video, I'm going to extend a challenge. I'm going to call this the challenge video. I'm going to extend a challenge. I'm going to challenge any Christian to answer this following question that I'm going to put out there. But before I put that question out there, let me remind you guys, Hebron Ben Bilal, the remnant of the house of Israel. You can go to that page and start to read up on us, our community, what we own, what we stand for. I want y'all to subscribe to this page, man. Hit that bell down there so I can, I don't know about getting subscribers up, even what that does, because I don't know anything about all this. It's been going for 1,000 years, so that's really kind of meaningless to me. But I would still like to have y'all on the page, man, and so this way y'all can start getting little messages that I put out there. And we do more. I do more than just religious things. As far as speaking and talking and doing things of that nature, coming on and giving little things. I do little funny anecdotal things. I talk about other issues and than just religion and all of that. I don't really get into the politics, big bro Tone. Like you asked me, I don't really get off into that. And I do got a cat that I can turn you on to. He loves that type of thing. But yeah, hit that subscribe button down there, man, and that bell so you can start getting my little messages. Now, I'm not going to go really long with this. I'm going to want to wrap it up in one segment. Now, my question to all Christians, and I told y'all this before, I really don't get into this, going in trying to obliterate people's belief systems, but I told you, when you utilize this history text to promote paganism, because I'm going to call it what it is, paganism. Promote paganism, that's when I take issue with it, and that's when I kind of come, with a little message or a little lesson. So today my question is, I want whoever, it don't matter, Gino Jennings, I don't care who it is, Olivia, this is what I want. Somebody to explain to me why all through the old text, the God of this Bible, Yahweh, time and time again, I pulled out 29 passages today. Now, I know it's more, it's just some I didn't add into it because they weren't talking directly about what I was looking for. But in the Torah, the first 5 books of the Bible, because that's the Torah. Let me explain that to y'all because a lot of y'all don't know. The Torah is the first 5 books of the Bible. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. Those are the first 5 books of the Bible. That's called the Torah. That's like the Hebrew Bible. That's the one that they call the laws of Moses. Those are the ones that Christians say that they don't have to adhere to. So my thing is this. Why is it that the God of the Bible, time and time again, 29 times that I pulled up today, 29 times said, do these things forever. Do these things, olam in Hebrew. Do them forever, but you guys don't do it. I want one of y'all to answer that. Now, see, I'm going to give you the answer that you're going to give, because remember, you got to remember, I was in religious boot camp for 15 years, almost 15 years, so I know all the answers. Plus, I was a practitioner for Christianity for almost 4. And man, listen, when I say I was sharp with that Christianity stuff, you couldn't tell me nothing until I started reading for myself. So I know what your answer is going to be. So I'm going to give you the answers. Then I'm going to answer your answers. And then I want you to go back to start and explain to me why 29 times. And I'm not going to give them all to you. I'm going to make another video after this. And I'm going to read off all the passages where you can find them. Where's the 29? And you can research them, study them, go in there and look at them for yourself. But I want to know, why is it that 29 times he said olam? He said do these things forever. But y'all keep saying, well, we don't have to do them because he died. Christ died and he nailed those things to the cross. Okay, so once again, here's my question. He says forever. Y'all say, no, we don't have to. Now, I'm not concerned about what Peter, Paul, James, Luke, Matthew, I'm not concerned about what any of them said. He said forever. So here's the thing. I read to y'all yesterday where he said he doesn't change, he doesn't lie, he doesn't change his mind, he don't go back on what he said, he cannot lie. So if at some point in time y'all telling me that he changed that, that means that he's a liar. Because if he says forever, forever means forever. Now let me give you this, because I'm about to go into the explanation that y'all gonna give, and I'm gonna show you that you're wrong, because I've dealt with this before. And then I'm gonna read you 6 of these forevers, and then I'm gonna make another video reading all of them off so you can have them. And if you want to research them and look, that's fine. He said he never changes all these particular things, but y'all said he does. So I take issue with the fact that the excuses that y'all use, the first one that y'all use is this. Well, forever doesn't mean forever right there, literally. It only means for a certain period of time. We only have to do that for a certain period of time. And that was until Christ came, then he died, and he freed us from that. But I showed y'all yesterday through multiple commandments that came out, the oldest and the new, that you're stuck underneath the Mosaic commandment. No matter how you try to shake, bake, and finagle, it's in there. But that's going to be the first thing y'all say. No, he didn't mean forever, literally. He meant for a certain amount of time, for a certain time span. Let me say this. It is the Europeans who translated this book, or the Hebrew, into English. So they took the word olam, which means forever, in all those particular instances, and said that it meant forever. In English, forever means forever, no ending. You can look up any definition of it you want. It means it has no end. So if the early scholars, your early Christian church fathers, took this, translated it into English, and said, well, this means forever. Now y'all gonna go back and say that it doesn't. So let's nip that in the bud first. So the first place I want to go to Zechariah. I'm gonna go to Zechariah first. Zechariah 14, 16 to 21. And I'm really passionate about this, and I'm serious about this, because I've been seeing a lot of stuff online where you got these church leaders preaching and teaching that you don't have to keep the commandments. And that's troubling to me. So Zechariah 14, 16 to 21 is going to go as follows. But before I tell you, let me tell you from 14 to 1 all the way to 15 what's going on here. This is a futuristic event that's going to occur. It's going to be a world war. It's supposed to occur down by Israel. They're supposed to be attacking Israel. There's a bunch going to be going on. They all going to have this world war. They talk about it in Revelations. We done read it. But Zechariah is talking about it here. In the future, once the third temple is built, all of this is supposed to occur. The third temple, remember right now, it's only 2 temples have been built. The one by Solomon, and the other was by, his name escapes me. But it was tore down by Titus and his father. But this would be the third temple in Zechariah that's being spoke about. So what they're talking about from 1 to 15 is the restoration of the Israelites back to the land, and then the whole mess that's going to follow. So it's going to be a big fight. It's going to be a war going on. And everybody going to be fighting down there in that area. It's going to be a world war. And they talk about people's eyes melting out their heads. So a lot of people saying that they believe it's going to be a nuclear holocaust that goes on and so on and so forth. But what I wanted to show you was we start at 16 and it says it goes as follows. Now, this is in the future now. This is not today. This hasn't already happened. This is in the future. And it says, and it shall come to pass that everyone that is left of all the nations after this huge war, which came against Jerusalem, will even go up from year to year, worship the King, capital K, they're talking about the Messiah here, worship the King, the Lord of hosts, and keep the Feast of Tabernacles. Now, let me keep reading before I explain to y'all what y'all gonna say, what I've heard people say. And it shall be that whosoever will not come up of all the families of the earth unto Jerusalem to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, even unto them shall be no rain. So anybody who's not coming up there during Feast of Tabernacles is September, November, but they're supposed to go up in the fall, have the Feast of Tabernacles. And whoever doesn't come up and commemorate this feast, is going to be struck with plagues. They're going to, and if the families, they're going to be struck with famine and all that, drought. He's going to punish them for not observing this particular feast. Now, I'm going to bounce to, before I finish reading that, I'm going to bounce to Leviticus 23, which I told y'all to read yesterday, but most of y'all probably didn't. Leviticus 23 tells you about the feast days of Yahweh. Leviticus 23 tells you about the feast days of Yahweh. Leviticus 23, let's start at 39. Leviticus 23 and 39. And also in the 15th day of the 7th month, when you have gathered in the fruit of the land, you shall keep a feast unto Yahweh 7 days. On the first day shall be a Sabbath, and on the 8th day shall be a Sabbath. That stuff that y'all said was done away with. And you shall take on the first day the boughs of goodly trees, branches of palms, and the boughs of thick trees, and willows of brooks, and you shall rejoice before Yahweh for 7 days. And you shall keep it a feast unto Yahweh 7 days in the year. It shall be a statute forever. In your generations, you shall celebrate it in the 7th month. You shall dwell in booths. This is the feast that he's talking about. If you do not celebrate it, you do not commemorate it, if you're not keeping it, you're going to be punished. You shall dwell in booths 7 days. All that are Israelite born shall dwell in booths. That the generation, no need to even read that particular part, but I'm going to go back to this. Zechariah, where Zechariah said that all people who are left on the earth after this humongous war have to go up and celebrate this feast every year. And if they don't, they're going to be struck with plagues. So let's keep reading at 18. And if the family of Egypt go not up and come not that have rain, there shall be a plague. And have no rain, there shall be a plague. Wherewith the Lord will smite the heathen that come not up to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. So you're the heathens. The ones who came, I'm not an Israelite. You're the heathens. So even he's telling you, heathen, that if you don't come up, heathen, and observe the Feast of Tabernacles, heathen, that you keep saying is done away with, heathen, that you're going to be struck with a plague. That he's going to strike the Egyptians and the heathens. So you say you're not an Israelite. The only other thing you can be is a heathen. It's only one or two. So he's even telling you, even the heathen who does not come up and commemorate and celebrate this thing, but y'all said it's done away with. But here's the thing that's tripping me out. Here in Zechariah, it's talking about a futuristic event. Once the third temple is built, there's going to be this massive war that occurs on this planet over there by Israel. After this war is done, everybody that's left must start coming and observing the holy days. And the ones who don't are going to be punished. So let me ask you something. So let me see. Okay, he said forever, but he really didn't mean forever. This is what y'all gonna say. Of course, that word really didn't mean forever. It ended with Christ. So it ended with Christ, but it starts up again when Christ returns. That makes zero sense, because Zechariah is right here telling you that Yahweh says whoever does not come up to celebrate the Feast of Tabernacles will be punished even the heathen. Now, here's what's interesting to me. That your own Messiah, Jesus, that King, when he comes back, he going to be celebrating the Feast of Tabernacles. But you have the audacity to say out of your mouth that you don't have to do it. But he said forever. So that kills your forever argument, because if forever does not mean forever, why is he, I don't get it. Because that means he's going to have to come up with some whole nother scriptures to get y'all to understand that it's time to come up and celebrate. It doesn't make, I mean, I even heard, when I asked somebody this before, I asked a Christian this before, me and him was having a conversation. He said, oh, well, see, you don't understand. That's a spiritual Feast of Tabernacles. It's not a literal Feast of Tabernacles. Oh, so you got to make a trip to go up to Jerusalem, because that's a part of the Feast of Tabernacles, the pilgrimage aspect. You have to go to Jerusalem because there's so many sacrifices. And I'm going to get to that. But you're telling me that it's a spiritual Feast of Tabernacles. So you have to go all the way up there, I guess, on a spiritual pilgrimage. So you sit from your living room and have this out-of-body spiritual event that's going to occur over there. You spiritually go there, and you make all these spiritual sacrifices for the seventh day. That don't make sense, man. This is what I said. I said this before. A novice should never, ever be able to pick this book up, because you turn into a bona fide what is the name? A heretic. Because you say stuff and then you back yourself in the corner, but out of pride, you will not admit you're in error. So this is what's happening. This shall be, at 19, this shall be the punishment of Egypt and the punishment of the nations that come not up to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. But I thought y'all said it was done away with. So either I'm wrong, Zechariah's wrong, and y'all right, or the prophet Zechariah. Y'all might want to tear this out after we get done talking. Tear the book of Zechariah out so none of your members can see it, because that's basically what you're going to have to do. Because anybody who has any type of literacy and can read this, they'll say, hold up, this is a futuristic event. And they keeping the Feast of Tabernacles in the future. I thought that was done away with. Nope, there it is. In the future, the Feast of Tabernacles will be being kept. In that day should there be upon the bells of the horses holiness unto the Lord, and the pots in the Lord's house shall be like the bowls before the altar. Yea, every pot in Jerusalem and in Judah shall be holiness unto the Lord of hosts, and all that sacrifice shall come and take of them and seize therein. Still making sacrifices too. So all them sacrificial laws that y'all said was done away with, they ain't done away with. They still gonna be making sacrifices. All the holy days that he said keep forever, that y'all said, oh no, that's done away with, they keeping them in the future when the Messiah comes. So this is what I want you to do. I want you to worm your way out of this. I want you to explain to me and say, hey, listen, they were done away with, but see, they're going to be reinstituted when he comes back. Show me that in the book. Because I'm showing you forever. So your argument that it's only for a length of time, forever means only for a length of time. Nah, because it says right here that they'll be keeping it in the future. They will be keeping it in the future. So if they're keeping it in the future, when the Messiah comes, and this is one of the things I like to say to Gino Jr. I thought you said that he broke the Sabbath. That he said that the Sabbath, he broke it. So he was basically said, that doesn't make sense. So let's go to Ezekiel real quick, because I don't want this to run long, because I don't want to hold y'all brothers and sisters. Ezekiel 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, and 45, those are the chapters. What they're doing in that particular place is Ezekiel was explaining to those particular people what he's seen in a vision. He's seen the third temple being erected. Just like in this particular instance with Zechariah, he's seen the third temple being built. So, that second temple was built by Herod. I apologize because I'm real jacked up and amped up right now about this topic. Herod built the second one. First one was built by Solomon. Herod built the second one. They say that Yeshua or is supposed to build a third, or when the Israelites go back, they build it, and then the Messiah returns and he starts to commemorate everything. But in Ezekiel, if you go to the book of Ezekiel, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, and 45, those chapters are explaining about about the rest of the building of the second temple. So with the second temple being built, what's being explained here is what's going to happen after the second temple is built. This is in the future. Remember, all this is futuristic. This is in the future. This hasn't happened yet. This is futuristic prophecy of what is supposed to occur when the Messiah comes or before he comes, but it's in the future. So let's go ahead and finish debunking of that forever was just a length of time. Because once again, that rubs me the wrong way because you guys keep saying that, and it clearly shows us that the Messiah will be keeping it. So if it was done away with, if he fulfilled that and it was done away with, why does he keep it when he come back? And I'm going to show you this in Ezekiel. But I'm going to, actually what I'm going to do is make a second video because I told you I'm going to make a second video showing that, showing you all these particular passages, the forevers. So you will have the option to go in and look for yourself if you choose to. If not, so be it. But once again, I extend the challenge for any Christian. Don't go and pull out Peter, Paul, James. Just explain to me why he said forever. Why he said forever. And I'm showing you that these things will be kept in the future. But for some reason in this dispensation, like y'all keep talking about, y'all don't have to do it. But they kick up again later. When they gonna kick back up? Please explain that to me because y'all got to be able to explain it to me via the book. So let me shut this one down and I'm gonna start another one.